We've got some good news and we've got some bad news for you Snyder fans that are out there, okay? On one hand, okay, according to the co-writer for Rebel Moon, he says that they've got very detailed outlines for another 4 films because, if you recall, Zack has these gigantic aspirations because he wants Rebel Moon to take over. He wants it to be a multidisciplinary launch, okay? He wants comic books, he wants movies, he wants television shows, he wants video games, he wants everything, okay? Now, so far, I mean, for as much as he'd like to spin it, the Rebel Moon 1 was more popular than Barbie. In reality, we're about to hit the 1-year anniversary of Part 2, The Scargiver, releasing on Netflix, and, haven't really heard that much concrete about a continuation of the story to take down that evil Emperor Belisarius. See, I've listened to a fair few reviews. It's like, I find this, I like Rebel Moon and the fact that it's absolutely hilarious. Like, it's so inept on so many different levels. But yeah, I've watched numerous different breakdowns of this, and it brings me joy. I'm glad it's out there. Okay, I like that little Zack Snyder just has the opportunity to go ahead and play around, and at least this time around, he's destroying something of his own creation. Okay, like, I know everybody wants to give him praise and lap his ass for 300, but somebody who watched that in the theaters, and it was the first movie, it was the first Blu-ray I ever bought for my first high-definition television I ever bought. It's been a minute since I've gone back and watched it, but nothing really sticks with me, and that was even something at the time. It's like, yeah, cool, some of the shots look fine, because Zack wasn't the cinematographer for his own movies at the time. He was just simply ripping panels directly out of a comic book to adapt. But outside of Leonidas, I beg you to name one more character, and no, Lena Headey, Cersei Lannister, you can't really point to her because what the fuck was her name in that movie? Like, cool, you had Faramir, but you couldn't write one character? And don't even get me started on that overrated Watchmen adaptation. That shit. Like, I'm not somebody who ever says I don't like a movie because it's boring, but that's one of those films that I just kept on watching, and it's like I had a lot of respect for Malum Ackerman back in the cut, and it's like, yeah, at the point where they have that slow motion sex scene in that space craft, is like, I'm out of here, man. Like, I gotta go. Like, nothing is happening. This shit sucks, okay? I know a lot of people say that Rorschach is really cool, but I've never liked, in the long term, any of Zack Snyder's films that I've seen. None of his DC stuff holds up to scrutiny a little bit. He's been a hack through and through. And Rebel Moon brought that to the forefront for a lot of people. But hey, there's still those nut huggers that are out there that think that Justice League, his version of it, his cut, his true vision realized, is the tightest paced, it's the most complete and perfect 4 hours ever committed to cinema. Oh my god. He always had it in mind that it was supposed to be in 4:3 ratio. Just don't mind the extra 25% of headspace for all of the characters. Oh, the fact that it was going to be in black and white. Oh, bro, see, oh my god, my samurai references. Oh, it's so good. Bro, we make fun of Dave Filoni for his overindulgent hackery. Why can't we do the same thing for Zack Snyder? Oh, because he's a different kind of edgy. Like, Zack Snyder and Dave Filoni, they definitely do belong in the same universe together, because Rebel Moon, it started off as, it was a pitch. One of the only good things that Kathleen Kennedy has ever done, okay, was turn down Zack Snyder. Because Rebel Moon was supposed to be a Star Wars movie. This was his take on it. This was the edgier, more serious, adult and grounded version of Star Wars, with the paralyzing grabby chairs and the battle for wheat. Okay, cool, man. But hey, like I said, it's good news, but unfortunately there is a little bit of bad news. But yeah, the good news, we'll focus on that first. Very detailed outlines for another 4 films. Okay, so whenever Netflix, I'm sure they've probably got all the letters, they've got the emails, they're just, they're busy right now. They're about to launch, the final season of Stranger Things is coming out. They've got financial reports to make. They'll get around to it. They'll answer them at any time now. Okay, co-writer of Zack Snyder's Rebel Moon series has given a tentative update for the future of the Netflix franchise, speaking to Minutemen, okay. Kirk Johnstad reveals that there are outlines for 4 more movies in the sci-fi universe, which features warriors fighting back against the almighty Imperium forces of the Mother World. We've outlined movies 3, 4, 5, and 6. Oh, those decisions are way above me, how those things are made, and where the money is going to come from. I hope we get a chance to tell that story to its very end, because it's an amazing world, and I love writing those characters. Oh, well, that's good. It's just unfortunate that we never really got those characters. We got a bunch of actors and a bunch of people on on screen that said their backstory pretty much all in unison. It's all about how the Empire came down and did something bad to them and it killed their family, and now they're out there seeking revenge. But one is edgy because she cut off both of her arms. Don't try to make that one make sense, and don't try to ask too many questions. How if she cut off one hand, how she could cut off the other, and then put on totally not lightsabers on her arms. But also don't worry about the mechanics of said lightsabers, because okay, in order to wield them, you have to be told how to wield them through the blood of your ancestors. I wish I was making that up. But also they had to be grafted onto your arms because they're too hot to hold. Unless, of course, you're Korra and you can wrap a little bit of cloth around the handle and then wield them that way. I mean, like, it's totally fine. They've flushed everything out. I'm sure that they've, ironed out all of the kinks for episodes, installments 3, 4, 5, and 6. I'm just wondering I wonder how if they spent more time on the characters, fleshing out Princess Issa. Seeing how many more goofy proper nouns that they can make Anthony Hopkins say through a stupid, antler bedecked robot, or if they were trying to one-up their edgy subtitles, because, what was the first one? It was Rebel Moon Part 1, Child of Fire, and then it was the Scargiver, and then the director's versions that had just more blood and more tits, and replaced the intergalactic spacefaring engines on these these starships. Instead of having them powered by coal, they had them powered by corpses, because Zack Snyder writes for adults. One was a chalice of blood, and the other, oh god, I forget, but they were equally as bad, okay? And that's why, here's the bad news, guys. Rebel Moon 3 has been canceled. Oh man, Zack Snyder's collaborator says it'll take an act of God to save Netflix's space disaster. Oh no. It is possible that Rebel Moon 3 may have been cancelled by Netflix. One Snyder collaborator hints that this may be so. Netflix may have finally found the brakes on Zack Snyder's slow-motion space train wreck. However, are we going to properly get our fill of slow-motion grain harvesting? Like, come on, man. You're depriving us of something, which is Snyder's true vision. Longtime Snyder collaborator and screenwriter Kirk Johnstad, I made it sound like the odds of Rebel Moon getting a third installment are somewhere between slim and you better start praying. In a recent appearance on, the I Minutemen podcast, Johnstad laid it bare. We have outlines for 3, 4, 5, and 6, very detailed outlines. And the second movie was to find the princess, and the third is to make sure that the princess is where she should be, even though they said that she was dead at the beginning of the second movie because Korra killed her, because Belisarius told her to say so, and then she just walked off the ship because the guards that also had rifles didn't want to do anything. But then again, they also didn't want to interrupt the in-house orchestra playing the diegetic music in the background. God damn it, that shit was stupid. Do it, kill her. But anyways, she should be sitting on the throne and properly ruling. Because she's still alive out there, which is kind of crazy, because Anthony Robotkins, he apparently became, his programming became despondent because he didn't have a princess to protect anymore, even though she was still alive out there somewhere. Don't try to make it make sense. It's very well thought out. They've got outlines. I'm sure it works. It's Snyder's vision. And then added, with some luck and an act of God, we'll get to go back into that world. Translation, unless the heavens part and Netflix executives get struck by divine delusion, the Rebel Moon saga is likely over. Oh man, despite the expensive media campaign and a kind of grandiose marketing usually reserved for actual hits, Rebel Moon Part 2, The Scargiver, was a steep decline in viewership, compared to its predecessor. That's saying something, considering that Part 1 of Child of Fire wasn't exactly Stranger Things. No, because it was viewed by this many people, and if you translate that to $30 a ticket, and then you say that every individual person watching Netflix is actually 4 people watching it, more people watched Rebel Moon on Netflix than Barbie at the theaters. Well, Scargiver briefly topped in Netflix's film charts upon release, because it was the only thing that came out over Christmas in 2023. Anyways, once the novelty wore off, audiences dropped off, and they did. So did any lingering illusions that this was Netflix's Star Wars. The Scargiver currently boasts a Rotten Tomato score of 16%. 47%, that's Snyder fans that are out there, let's keep it a buck. Reviews called it uninvolving, flat, and perhaps most devastatingly, a more of the same. I wouldn't necessarily say that that is true, because the first one is Seven Samurai, and then the second one is them undercutting the entire purpose of the first film because they couldn't get off planet because they didn't have a starship, but then they also had to hide the starship in the second one. It's a smart film for grown-ups. But yes, Netflix shelled out an estimated $166 million for the first two films. That number doesn't include marketing, which was extensive. Yes, for context, that kind of investment you make when you think you've got a franchise juggernaut, not a streaming afterthought. But yeah, it's actually not the most expensive thing that Netflix has done recently. Does everybody remember Electric State? Yeah, exactly. That came out, not but a month ago, and that cost them $360 million. Who made that one? All right, Russo brothers, who have gone on to bigger and better things like Avengers Doomsday. Expecting that to be any good? Yeah, exactly. Now, with a VR video game already in development via Sandbox VR, decision met with raised eyebrows and open laughter. It seems Netflix is trying to squeeze blood from a stone, or at least turn the flop into an immersive experience, with no confirmed plans for Rebel Moon 3 and insiders using phrases like Act of God. It's clear that Netflix has serious doubts about greenlighting another round of galactic slow-motion brooding. But yeah, it's alright, man, okay? Because you would think normally after like 3 consecutive flops, because, alright, everybody forgets about Army of the Dead. It also came out, that was Zack Snyder's True Vision. That was his first project for Netflix post the Snyder Cut, right? Because it was so exciting, right? Because the Snyder Cut was such a big improvement over the Justice League, right? Right, sure, yeah. 80% new material. Even if you compare and contrast it with the original Justice League, it's all in there, minus a couple of jokes. But don't worry about it. People love it, I think, even though nobody finished watching it. What was it, had a 60% attrition rate? I remember talking about following the conversation at the time, but yeah, everybody fell off. But yeah, big hit. He ended up bilking Netflix for a huge deal. And while, yeah, like I said, 3 films, 3 bombs in a row, that would normally get somebody placed in director's jail. But no. Zack has a lot of projects on the horizon. Snyder and Johnstad have now taken the opposite approach to their next project, and instead of a big cosmic-scale space opera, they've been grounded with an LAPD police series in development at Netflix. So yeah, Netflix doesn't necessarily want Rebel Moon anymore, but they still want more Zack Snyder. It's like, okay, cool, I don't want you to shit in my mouth, but if you could just shit on my chest, that would be fine. Snyder is also stepping into the octagon and directing Brawler, a film about mixed martial artist who gets his big shot in the UFC championship, yes, but is riddled with inner demons. Oh my god, it's going to be so edgy, because he's going to have a drinking problem, and he's going to end up, slow motion punching his wife. It's like, oh great, it'll be so fantastic. Zack, you're such a visionary. I can't wait until I don't watch any of the other shit that you put out, because I've been burnt once by him, and fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, might as well buy a signed copy of Sucker Punch. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.